Dear students, I have come with a new module, Performance of Contracts. We have seen the essentials of valid contract. Each and every point we have discussed in detail. Now we are coming to the performance of the contract. Now what is the meaning of performance of contract? Fulfilling of their respective legal obligations by both the parties. So if two parties entered into contract, if it is for purchase of a house property, so that meaning they paid the amount, they registered that, they completed the formalities. So that is performance of the contract. Then the contract comes to a happy ending. So it may not be true for all the contracts. Sometimes some people will not complete the contract. One party will not. Sometimes both the parties will not be able to fulfill their obligations or promises. So there are consequences if the performance of the contract is not fulfilled to the satisfaction of all the parties involved in the contract. So that is the importance of performance of contract. Now, methods of discharging contract. There are 6 points we are going to learn in detail. Methods of discharging contract, I will list that by performance. Second is by impossibility of performance. Third is by agreement. Fourth is by lapse of time. Fifth, by operation of law. And sixth, by breach of contract. We will explain these points in detail. First one, by performance. Performance of a contract can be based on 2 points. One is actual performance and B is attempted performance. Attempted performance is also known as tender. See, actual performance, you are writing an online examination. If you are able to submit on time, it's actual performance you have completed. But if it's attempted performance, meaning you attempted the exam, but you are not able to submit on time, that is attempted performance or tender. Now, we will see the actual performance in detail. Both the parties perform their share of obligations. It can be anything. Purchase of a property, purchase of a vehicle, buying an insurance, any policy, anything like that. Both the parties completed their share of obligation. It is an actual performance. Brings the contract to a happy ending. Second one is important, attempted performance or tender. One party or both the parties may have attempted to perform the contract, but they were not able to fulfill. So first one, attempted performance, you have to remember, if the promiser offers to perform his obligation under the contract. See, when you are writing an online examination, you join the online, some problem with the internet, you are not able to carry on further, or you are not able to submit on time. It's an attempted performance. It's a tender. At the proper time and place, you logged in with your university ID at the proper time, whatever time designated, 10 minutes before you sign in. Then you joined the exam, but the internet problem, you were not able to complete. So the proper time and place you have fulfilled. Next point is, but the promisee does not accept the performance. If you have not submitted on time, it is the teacher will not accept that because your marks are not entered. You have not submitted on time. Then is equivalent to actual performance. Tender is always considered as equivalent to actual performance because there is no fault from your part. You have attempted the performance, internet problem or some problem with the computer, anything like that, in electricity failure. This is not within your control. So you attempted, you are getting the right. So that excludes the promiser from future performance. So the future performance. Now you have to, now the condition of the contract will change. Then you have to come for a retest. You have to meet the teacher. All this, the formalities will change now. Because you attempted, you are not able to complete. Now promiser can sue the promisee for breach of contract. See, sometimes if it's breach of contract, forget about the examination if it's something else. See, for example, you want to buy an apartment. See, here down payment is made, you are paying the monthly installments, but builder were not able to complete on time. Now you know that as per the RERA Act in Karnataka, if the builder is not able to hand over the property on time, the buyer can take legal action. So they can sue the contractor or the builder for not completing and handing over the house property on time. So this will, sometimes it will lead to legal complications. Now, what are the essential conditions of a valid tender? First one is, it is unconditional. You cannot add conditions with that. See, for example, when you are purchasing a property, you have discussed the terms and conditions, entered into agreement. Now, at the time of getting the house property, you cannot say that I want the builder to do the interior decoration also free of cost. Then only I will accept. It's an extra condition which you have not discussed. Second is made at the proper time and place. See, imagine you are a tenant, you want to pay the house rent. Imagine your landlord and you are attending a marriage function. When the landlord is talking to his friends or when he is having food, you cannot go and give the rent there. Because if you want to pay rent, though you are a tenant and he is a landlord, then you have to remember that proper place and time where you can pay. That points you might have seen that how you are paying, or it's an online transfer or it credited to his account or anything like that. There are, when he's at home, you can go and pay if you're making the cash payment. Proper place and time is very important. It should not be disturbing the other party. Next is the whole obligation. See, for example, your rent is 10,000. You cannot go and give it to the landlord, 5,000 I'll pay now, 5,000 after 10 days. It is not possible. The entire amount you have to pay. If you are not paying the entire amount, it is not considered as debtor. Now, continuing with that, should be made to the proper person. If you are paying the rent to the landlord, you cannot pay that amount to his minor son or wife. Whatever the condition discussed, when you are entering into agreement, they will make sure how the rent has to be paid, to whom it should be paid. So that conditions you have to follow. Next is an offer to the joint promisee has the same legal effect as an offer to all of them. Imagine you are dealing with a partnership firm. So partnership firm, many partners will be there. So if your obligation, you are going and discussing with one partner and you are settling with that partner, it is as equivalent as you have discussed with all the partners. Next is made by the proper person. See, if imagine you have to do a contract, we cannot send our children to complete that formality. They are not responsible. We cannot spend our spouse to complete that formality. If you are the person to do that, you have to do that. Then legal tender money. It's very important. If I have to pay rent, I cannot go and give in US dollars. It will create problem for the landlord because RBI sanction is required if you want to convert that foreign exchange, or you have to go to a bank to convert it if it's smaller denomination. So these are the legal tender money. If you're doing any business in India, that whatever legal tender money we are using, that should be the mode of payment. Otherwise, if it's export, import and all, they will discuss whether they are accepting the consideration in foreign currency or Indian currency. That has to be followed. Then reasonable opportunity to the promisee for inspection of goods. See, we have seen that all offices, they will display their office hours. They will display their lunch break. That meaning, that time, office hours meaning that is the time general public can have dealings with that office. Lunch break in a bank, they displayed. That meaning that time they are not expecting customers. They are, even if you go and wait there, they will not attend. Only after the lunch break they will attend. So here one official responsibility is there. If you have to supply some items to the educational institution, usual timings, if we take our university, that is 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 5. That is the official time. Non-teaching staff will report from 8:30 to 5. If you have to supply the things within this time, it has to reach there, and the employees concerned should get sufficient time to check that quality, quantity, everything. They have to verify and they have to accept it as stock. So that is very important. See, here there is one case in this regard. Reasonable opportunity to inspect the goods. The case is startup versus McDonald 1843. This happened in 1843. So here what happened? This is the agreement between two parties to supply 10,000 liters of oil. So the condition was that this item has to be supplied within the last 14 days of March. So what happened? This McDonald delivered the item on March 31st, 8:30. You know that 8:30 is not the official time for the business to check that validity, quantity, quality, all that. So he refused to accept that. It has come on the last day, and that too at 8:30. The matter went to the court, but the court was of the opinion that though it has reached at 8:30, the person startup should have accepted that. Accepted that because this is an attempt from the part of the person to deliver the goods, 10,000 liters of oil. So this is a valid case. Reasonableness of delivering the item to the office. Now, we will see the next point. Effective refusal of a party to perform the promise fully. See, if you are not performing the contract in the full, even if it's amount, you are paying only one installment. It is not a tender. So what will be the effect of refusal of a party to perform the promise fully? If you are not fulfilling your obligation completely, what will be the effect? First point is, party not in default can end the contract. If you are the party who is not in default. I am paying somebody 10,000 rupees I have to pay. I am going and giving them 3,000 rupees. 7,000 I will pay later. So the other party where I borrowed money, he can take action. He can end the contract and he can sue me for the remaining or the full amount. Second option is a contract to sing in a hotel. See that another example I will give you is, see a singer entered into a contract to sing in a hotel for 8 weeks. We have seen that some hotels night when we have dinner or lunch and all, no, that they'll perform. Some musicians will come and perform. So that will give that good atmosphere for the people and that will attract more customers. So here what happened is, imagine a singer entered into a contract with a hotel manager to sing continuously for 8 weeks. Imagine singer has not turned up on the 6th week. He has not informed. So what will be the consequences? So two options are there. First one is, singer, that manager can end the contract without informing. He has not turned up on the 6th week. The hotel has advertised saying that there will be music performance. So on that basis, customers came. Customers, they were unhappy because the hotel has not promised. It will have its own consequences. So one option for the manager is he can end the contract. Now imagine second option for the manager is, singer performs on the 7th day. That meaning the manager has not entered the contract. So singer, 6th day he was absent, 7th day he is coming. So it is a consent to continue the contract. If the manager is not stopping the singer from performing on the 7th day, that meaning the manager is giving consent to the singer. So singer has to pay compensation for failure to sing on the 6th night. So manager will decide there will be a compensation that singer has to pay. Because 6th night he has not performed. What are all the consequences? The manager will decide. Either manager can decide from that 6th week day onwards, he can completely end the contract. He can call a new person, new singer, and he can start with the fresh contract. If he is coming on 7th day and the singer can perform, but the manager can decide the 6th night why he has not performed, the compensation he has to pay. So this is what I want to explain in this module. Actual performance of the contract and the tender. Happy learning. Thank you.